Half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. Rush Limbaugh, and to the telephones. We're going to start Brighton, Michigan with Steve. Thank you for calling, sir. It's great to have you here.
Good afternoon, Rush. How are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you.
Listen, Rush, I watched the opening ceremony of the Olympics, and I was kind of curious to know, do you think that was more socialist than the Chinese opening ceremony?
That's an interesting comparison. As I remember the Chi-Com opening ceremony, you know what stands out? You had tens of thousands of people all doing the same thing, all dressed exactly alike, all walking the same way. Tens of thousands of people choreographed, not one individual among them. Now, as a viewing spectacle, it was a sight to behold. It was breathtaking. And you had to, in a way, respect the choreography talents of the Chi-Com bosses for being able to pull that off. But when you get past that, what you realized was that these are just automatons, ordered to all behave identically, look identical, dress identical. I mean, it was scary. It was like watching zombies. So now then we move to the UK, and we've got that opening ceremony, where we had, I think it's even worse, because here we have an ostensible free people. Theoretically, the UK is made up of free people. And what did they choose to highlight about themselves but a bunch of collectivism? You know, that part of the opening ceremony where they highlighted the Industrial Revolution? You remember that?
Oh, absolutely. All of it, yeah.
Okay, well, I jabbed Catherine in the ribs, and I said, that's how the libs want all of us to live. That's where global warming, that's where they minus the smokestacks and the pollution. They want to get rid of modernity. Anything modern, get rid of it. That's when the planet was not being destroyed. That was when I know, industrial evolution, but in terms of simple, non-technological, no electricity life, that's what the extremists of the environmental movement want. I think of all the things of historical note in Great Britain, the United Kingdom, the things they chose to highlight about themselves in that opening ceremony scared me more, because that's a free people basically honoring socialism and collectivism. The Chi-Com people had no choice. They were under orders and under guns. In the UK, a free people decided to do it. So I would have to say, in answer to your good question, despite the fact the Chi-Com drummers were better. I'll give you that. There's no question.
Yes, they were.
Chi-Com drummer, but that was all part of the choreography. I still have to tell you that the UK was the more socialist of the two, because the free people willingly gave up.
There you go. Excellent answer.
Well, you knew where to call to get the right perspective and the right answer.
Rush, you got a second to talk about that guy getting caught on 995 last week? The drummer.
Which guy? The drummer on I-95? Oh, the drumstick guy.
Yeah,
the drumstick guy. You're fascinated by that story still?
No. Back in my long-haired, hippie, pot-smoking, maggot-infested days, I was a drummer. And whenever I got caught in a traffic jam, I'd have my drumsticks with me. I'd drive with my knee, and I'd pound on the steering wheel.
Well, now, did you ever have a woman driving next to you call 911 and say that you were engaging in perverted sex while you were doing that?
I've had 3 women in the car with me at once, and none of them called 911.
Well, that's if you don't remember the last week on 995, I was around. Well, I forget where it was. Fort Lauderdale or something. Some guy was driving along in his car, and he was playing his drumsticks on his steering wheel. And a woman in another car, you hear about this, Rachel? Woman in another car pulls up, sees this, and calls 911. Because she says what's going on in there is perverted sex. Now I ask, how many of you would, if you drove, say, some guy, even if you thought that that's what was going on, would you call 911? You'd kind of look at it, and you know what? You'd speed up to get out of the way in case the guy loses control at the point of orgasm. You'd get out of there. But call 911, busybody call 911. So the woman calls 911, the cops stop the guy. He says, no, I was just playing the drumsticks. They asked the woman, look, I know the difference between drumsticks and a male organ. And those weren't drumsticks. So that's what the guy was talking about. I just wanted to bring you up to speed if you were confused. Jerry in White City, Oregon, welcome to the EIB Network. Hello.
Oh, good morning, Rush. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I just wanted to make a small point that it's absolutely laughable for the defenders of the most booty-whipped president in history to be out calling anybody a wimp. But that is typically what they do. If they have a problem, they blame somebody else, accuse somebody else, and take the attention from themselves.
I know what it's a bunch of metrosexuals. I mean, they're a bunch of guys. You wouldn't want one of them in a foxhole with you. And here they are out there, booty whipped. I know what you mean by that. And here's Obama. There's like Richard Miniter's book is about the fact that Obama was booty whipped. Valerie Jarrett said, no, don't go get him 3 times. Don't get bin Laden. He was talked out of it 3 times by Valerie Jarrett.
Well, we all know who runs the White House, at least the domestic side. Michelle's pretty much got that part of his life under control.
I mean, she won't even let him eat what he wants to eat. The guy has to leave the White House and go to the Burger Brothers place or whatever it is. I think the only reason he has foreign leaders come to town is an excuse to get out of the White House and go to Mickey D's.
Yeah, but the left has been doing that since at least the 60s.
Yeah, I know.
They've got a problem. They accuse the right. If they see
what they do, as you well know, they spend their time accusing us of who they are. They spend their time accusing us of doing what they actually do. But it really is laughable. I mean, it wasn't that long ago they're calling Romney a bully for beating up this poor gay guy at prep school. Now he's a wimp. And all they're doing is recycling a 1987 Newsweek cover, which, as Bob Schieffer had to point, didn't work back in 1987. It didn't work. So it's typical of these clowns to go back to something that didn't work because that's all they got.